speeding motorist is caught on camera going over the limit. Just one of 3 million offenders will be issued with a ticket in Britain this year as a result of the rapidly increasing use of roadside speed cameras.
If you can reduce speed by 1 mile an hour, you can have a significant impact on a reduction of casualties, fatal or people seriously injured.
Cameras which will raise £180 million. Cameras which are causing a huge controversy as motorists claim they are being used to generate cash for cops. An accusation which doesn't go down well with the traffic cops.
But it's actually why you feel it necessary to do 120 mile an hour down the motorway.
It's just unacceptable that so many people are being killed on our roads purely because somebody wants to drive fast.
The fast and open roads of South Yorkshire have put this part of Britain on the leading edge of the crusade against motorists who speed.
Stop. We are clamping down on speeders.
An expensive Tesco shop, this.
Yes.
Catching them in the act used to be an everyday job for the traffic police.
You have to slow down, not just because there's a likelihood of a camera being there.
But the speeder's main enemy now is not the traffic cop, but the roadside camera. 9 out of 10 of all speeding tickets issued come from these. In South Yorkshire, the films from the cameras are processed here at the Sheffield Central Ticket Office.
This is a film that's been taken out of a static gap-served speed camera. It's a wet film, and it takes 2 shots of a vehicle that's broken the speed limit 0.7 seconds apart, and the distance that that vehicle's travelled in that 0.7 of a second determines its speed.
Each of the marks on the road surface corresponds to a speed of 5 miles an hour. Counting the number passed by the car from one picture to the next confirms that this motorist was doing 38 miles per hour, fast enough to be sent a ticket.
We were probably doing less than 2,000 offences a year when we first had the first Gatso style camera. Now we're on course for doing about 80,000 a year on the camera detected alone. So it's quite a significant increase.
The increase has meant that being stopped for speeding by a traffic cop is rapidly going out of fashion. Apart from on the motorway, where PC Matt Bort still operates, armed with an in-car camera system called the Provida. Its onboard computer calculates the time it takes for the target vehicle to travel a set distance in order to work out its speed. As long as Bort has the vehicle in sight, it can be tracked. The vehicle in front of the van ahead is over the limit, but it's no ordinary speeder.
Thought it looked like a hearse, but I thought it can't be a hearse, not doing 90 mile an hour.
Well, I'm amazed.
And as I got down behind it, I've seen exactly what it was, and it was a hearse, a silver hearse, together with coffin in the rear, clearly on display.
There's no getting away from the law, even after death.
Stopped it, spoke to the driver, who said that he was having to rush the body in the back to the airport.
I can show you this list, please. It's something I have to ask everybody now.
An average speed, I think, of just below 90 mile an hour, which wasn't bad to say that. It got slowed down to about 70 mile an hour for 30 seconds. So it would have been well in excess of 100 miles an hour, a hearse carrying a body, which I found incredible, so disrespectful.
The driver's haste is going to be rewarded with a £60 fine and 3 points on his licence.
I was quite surprised, actually. Thought he had a valid reason for doing that speed, because he had to get this body back to the airport, to catch a flight.
It doesn't look good. You do draw attention to yourself, a hearse, flying down the motorway. Appreciate what you say about being in a rush, but there's one deceased person on board. We don't want any more, do we?
With the greatest of respect, I don't think that the body was in that much of a rush. And I did actually conclude it by saying that we'd already got one deceased person on the motorway and we didn't need another one, or any others, by him driving at this daft speed. Within the last 2 years, we've actually had a fatal collision involving a hearse carrying a body on the A616 where the driver died, and the body went skidding down the carriageway.
The A616 is a road with a bad reputation. The 13-mile stretch, opened in 1988, which bypasses the town of Stocksbridge, has seen more fatalities on it than any other road in South Yorkshire. Last year, a new infrared camera system was installed to cut speed and fatalities on the road. Unlike the Gatsos, which encourage drivers to slow down for each one before speeding up again, this system measures the average speed of vehicles as they pass between the cameras at each end of the road.
Measured as a speed between set distances. So as a car is travelling along the road, its number plate is taken a photo of by the first camera, travels through the section that the camera is set up to measure, and on exit its number plate is taken again, and then the time it entered the system is taken and the time it exited. The distance is worked out, and from that the average speed is calculated.
There's been about 27, 28 deaths on there since the road opened. Since the cameras have gone in, it's had a very good effect on driver behaviour on that particular road. The camera system has slowed people down.
But speed is not the only problem. The cameras have a blind spot. They can't see drivers crossing the central double white lines or detect other risk takers.
What speed cameras can't do is detect the uninsured driver. They can't detect the dangerous driver. They can't detect the drunk driver.
At police headquarters in Sheffield, reports are coming in that, despite the presence of the cameras, another serious collision has just happened on the bypass. Traffic Cop Sergeant Chris Townend is rushing to the scene. It's not the first time he's been called to attend an accident on this stretch of road during his 24 years with the police.
I've policed it since it opened, and I've been to a lot of the fatalities on there, and it isn't the road that's the problem, it's driver behaviour, and the majority of accidents are as a result of impatient drivers crossing the double white line system.
Yeah, that confirmed fatal, one female.
Well, when I arrived, we had a Ford Focus travelling towards Sheffield that had got collision damage to its rear offside. It had also spun in the road surface and collided with the electric lamp standard. On the opposite side of the carriageway when travelling towards Sheffield was a large motorcycle laid on its side, and in front of the motorcycle, further Sheffield side, there was an injured rider. Independent witnesses have varied the speed between 80 and 100 miles per hour. The speed limit on the A616T is 60 miles per hour. Unfortunately, as a result of parting company with the motorcycle and the speed that the collision happened, the female pillion passenger received fatal injuries at the scene.
I've got a confirmed ID with a photo card with deceased. We're going to go to Rotherham Mortuary.
Yeah.
She's a Rotherham lass,
yeah.
And it's as easy for them to go to Rotherham anyway.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
The Ford Focus and the motorcycle have both been travelling towards Sheffield. There's only one lane of traffic for that direction separated by double white lines. According to independent witnesses, from the information we have at the moment, the motorcycle were doing numerous overtakes at high speed, and it would appear from the physical evidence that there's been a collision between the rear offside of the Ford Focus and the motorcycle, resulting in the motorcycle being tipped over and passenger and the rider and the pillion passenger being thrown along the road surface, which has caused all their injuries.
The police chopper has been called in from nearby Sheffield to get a perspective of the scene from the air. It's apparent that the bike rider has had difficulty getting back into the single lane after an oncoming vehicle has suddenly appeared in front of him from around the bend. Investigators are using spray paint to identify key reference points on the ground, such as where the impact occurred and where the vehicles came to a rest. These are easily visible from the air and can help present the whole incident to somebody not at the scene. Back on the M1, another road with a bad reputation, PC Matt Bort is again chasing speeders, the old-fashioned way.
So that's flying. The shadow cast by the half-mile marker board for 37.
The red Audi has stopped the clock at 98 miles an hour, a speed which could be determined as dangerous driving, as could the way he's tailgating the car in front.
Sufficient stopping distance at 80 miles per hour. Hello, sir. Can I have a quick word with you at the car, please? Any driving documents on you? Yeah. Do you want to fetch them out with you? Just have a seat in the back for me. Let's just close your door, so it's just a bit quieter. Right, before we start, I'll just point out this is a video-equipped police car. Everything that we'll say in this car will be recorded. Yeah. OK, the sound. I've just conducted a speed check of your vehicle using this calibrated speed detection device. Over a distance of 2.664 miles, you took 97.17 seconds to cover that distance, giving an average speed, a stress average of 98.69 miles per hour. Obviously in excess of the speed limit. I'm reporting you for consideration of the question of prosecuting for exceeding the speed limit. Up to 96 miles per hour, people are issued with a fixed penalty ticket, and above 96 miles per hour on a motorway, then people are reported on summons, which means that the magistrates are given the option of calling that person in front of them to explain why they were doing such a speed.
The man has got an unusual explanation, and he's hoping PC Bort is going to buy it.
I was just rushing to the nearest services.
What's going to happen at the services then? Why they need to go to the service?
Because she needed to use the toilet. To be honest with you, I did not do that on my own.
Well, so just pointed out, I followed you from junction 36, past junction 37, and we're now past the exit for junction 37, where, if needs be, you could have pulled off. Unfortunately, the need to go to the toilet doesn't negate you driving at 100 miles per hour on the motorway.
100 miles per hour?
Yeah, 98.69 is close enough to 100 miles per hour, isn't it? How far have you been travelling at 100 miles per hour to find a toilet?
About 15 to 20 minutes.
You've been travelling at 100 miles per hour for 20 minutes to find a toilet?
No.
It didn't take a genius to work out, would have taken him well past the services before where I saw him, and perhaps well into the services in Derbyshire. You can't use an excuse for needing to go to the toilet, having passed all these junctions, having passed the services, past a shopping centre, as an excuse to go 100 miles per hour, can you? If you think about it.
Please.
For 20 minutes.
Please. Please.
So,
I'm officer, I'm pleading with you.
People don't understand sometimes what we're trying to achieve, and they don't see the links between speed and death. And that's what we need to do, is try and prevent that in the first instance. Educate. If we can't educate, then enforce.
At the scene of the accident on the A616, officers are still trying to find out exactly what has taken place.
The impact's not right on that corner, it's slightly inboard of the corner.
Like he's gone out and slowed back in when he's realised there's some traffic coming.
Or he's gone out and he's got too close as he's going out.
What, focuses out to position slightly as he gone out?
Either way, it was too close, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I was too close, yeah.
Sergeant Townend's also a qualified crash investigator and has made a terrifying discovery.
When we had a cursory examination of the motorcycle at the scene, we found a set of brake shoes, brand new brake shoes, that had been carried in the rider's luggage. The brake shoes were the same make, type and pattern as the ones fitted to the motorcycle. Unfortunately, the brake shoes fitted to the motorcycle had worn out completely. Both the front and the rear brakes were in the same condition. So we're riding a motorcycle that's capable of 165 miles an hour effectively with no brakes at all.
The driver of the Ford Focus has had a lucky break. His car's been stopped and T-boned by the lamppost, but it's saved him from an even worse fate.
He was surprisingly calm, actually. So he'd been involved in such a heavy collision. He was very, very lucky that he didn't have any passengers. Because if he'd have had some passengers, then no doubt anybody sat in that front near side seat, there'd have been a fatality as well. That were a heavy collision with that lamppost. And if he hadn't hit the lamppost, then that car would have careened out of control down the banking and would have probably had a fatality at the bottom of the banking.
On the motorway, the driver stopped by PC Bort, whose partner hasn't yet been to the toilet, is still pleading to be let off.
Please, I'm pleading with you to spare me. Just give me that second chance. And please.
So what you're saying is then you don't want to get the points on your licence, so you're just using this as an excuse about your wife?
No, I'm not. No.
Because you appreciate what I'm saying, that you can't travel at 100 miles per hour to find a toilet, can you?
Please, I'm pleading with you now. Please, I'm begging you.
Something like that must be fetched up at court. That's mitigation, which you can fetch up at court. It's not something that I will be able to take on board, as you'd appreciate. Dealing with people come up with all kind of reasons, and I'm not in a position where I can make decisions on those reasons that they're giving. It would be unfair for me to leave you now, having given this excuse that you have, which is maybe valid.
I know.
And then going and prosecuting somebody else.
I know that, but I know it can start from you.
It is a straightforward excuse. I have heard it before, but never presented with such vigour like he presented it.
The driver of the car involved in the accident on the A616 has been breathalyzed. It's shown he hasn't been drinking. Now he can give a statement.
This is PC Kitchen. He's going to be dealing with job. Right. So what he's going to do is he's going to ask you to sit in his car, he's going to caution you and ask you for your first explanation. Right. We know what the independents have told us, but because you've been involved in an accident, we do the same procedure for every driver involved in every accident. Right. So we're not doing it different because somebody's died. We do it even if it's a non-injury accident. So don't be put off by any formal warnings that it gives you. All right, and I would after it's truth. Help, John.
The bike rider's injuries have been found not to be life-threatening, but he's thought to have been drinking.
Because the paramedic says he stinks of alcohol. Oh, dear. So there's alcohol a factor as well, we think, although we can't confirm that yet.
The suspicion is that he might be over the limit.
We'd had a phone call saying that this young man had been drinking in Stocksbridge, and that's why we ensured we obtained a blood specimen as soon as possible. Everybody's telling the same thing. Yeah. It's all fitting together nicely. Analysis of his blood also showed that he'd been drinking alcohol and taking an unlawful drug, namely cannabis. Broken pelvis, broken leg, broken arm, pissed, killed his girlfriend.
We were quite comfortably lying there when I turned up and...
Yeah, no. Well, the thing is, like, plenty of alcohol, good anaesthetic, innit? Because I've got no sympathy with me, I'll be honest with you. Well, none whatsoever. The man were an idiot. An idiot to ride the bike in that condition, and an idiot to ride it after he'd consumed alcohol and drugs. And to make it worse, it was his new girlfriend. They'd only been together a month, and then he goes and kills her like that. I personally like to see him charged with manslaughter. I don't have any sympathy whatsoever. I think it's just the same as loading a shotgun, pointing it at her and pull the trigger.
Back on the hard shoulder of the M1, the lessons in driving safely are still going on for the motorist PC Bort caught speeding.
It's difficult to think straight. It can be sometimes.
Well, I would hope you're thinking straight whatever you're driving and you're concentrating. I sympathise with what you're saying, but I have to deal with everybody equally. Yeah, and that means that if I was to stop the next person driving at nearly 100 miles per hour, you would hope that I deal with them the same as I'm dealing with you.
No.
You wouldn't hope that I would take something that they say to me and then just say, well, okay.
No. I know it's as a result of my own mistake, which I can't blame you for that.
If the licence is that important to you, you know, don't do the speed.
I'm really, really sorry. now as a result of my actions, maybe you could have been saving somebody else's life.
Yeah. So
you say.
Let me get off then, and I'll try.
I know, but I just want to plead with you that I drive.
Yeah. As I pointed out, this is the way it's going to be dealt with. If your license is important to you, don't drive this fast.
I'm a driver by profession. You say, I've already got 3 points on my license. So I'm saying, please give me this chance.
It's not a case of giving you a chance because you'll never do it again. Because
no, it's nothing like that. You know...
You've said that you've got 3 points on your license.
I've got 3 points.
What are they from? Is that speeding?
Yeah,
Wasn't that a chance? He was saying that he was a professional driver, a lorry driver, and he couldn't afford to get any more points on his licence. When I pointed this out to him, that still didn't seem to strike home, that the way to not get points on your licence, it's quite simple, it's the easiest thing to do, and that's not to speed.
The latest weapon wheeled out to persuade motorists that speeding is not good for them is the little white van. It's manned by traffic cops on overtime and conceals a gun. A laser gun.
It's a relatively small piece of equipment. It's got an emitter and a receiver, sends a pulse of laser light out and receives it back into the device. It's got a sighting scope on the top. And on the back panel are the operator buttons. The partnership is the South Yorkshire Police, all the local authorities, the South Yorkshire Fire and Rescue and the local health authorities. The marking up of the vehicle was approved by the Home Office. It's on the front of it. It says Casualty Reduction Unit. We'd preferred to put speed reduction, but apparently they didn't like that. It's a 40 limit and we allow them at the moment. Local guidelines, South Yorkshire, are 10% plus 4 miles an hour. So I'll set it at 49. It will react at 49. So if you come past us at 49, then you'll get a ticket, 49 and above. We're getting closer. I think what's possibly happening is that vehicles going into town probably see where we are and are flashing the vehicles coming out of town. So it's an automatic thing. If you get a number of cars flashing, you're first off thinking, is it somebody I know? When you think no, it's then, is there a police car, policeman, police vehicle doing some sort of speed check somewhere around? It's socially acceptable to speed. I think people really feel that. Although when questioned they may not agree with it, if you ask them about drink driving, that's something which over the last 20 years has become very much socially unacceptable. That people will phone up and tell us if there's somebody in a pub who's consumed a large amount of alcohol and he's going to climb in a car and try and drive home. Well, fine, they may be even more likely to have an accident to kill or seriously injure somebody, but similarly, somebody who's speeding can also just as easily have an accident, he's more likely to, and he's more likely to kill or seriously injure somebody.
The safety camera partnership has been formed to reduce the number of motorists speeding, but despite the initiative, road deaths in South Yorkshire have increased by an alarming 40% in the last 2 years.
For South Yorkshire, I think we're trying to be as conspicuous as we can, and really, by doing that, what we're trying to achieve is to educate people, not prosecute them.
The camera is a machine, albeit that I am operating it, and has no discretion. The discretion is only the preset speed limit that we dial into it. So, but the police officer has the discretion, and I think the public maybe feel that there's a possibility that he could exercise that discretion if they give him some good reason for the speed.
The motorist on the M1 still thinks he had a good reason for his speed and that PC Bort should exercise discretion.
25 minutes we've been sat here now and your wife was bursting for the toilet. Yeah?
Please.
So let's have your wife up to the services and then she can go to the toilet and get a medication.
Please give me this chance.
No,
I'm pleading
this is
with
the way
you
that I'm
once
dealing
more.
with it.
Please give me this chance.
All right.
Please. Please.
This is the way that it's been dealt with.
Please. Please don't let me cry in front of you now.
Oh, no, let's not be daft now. So let's have either. Let's have.
You know what? I'm not. Yeah, it's not. at the end of the day, you are only human, just like I am.
Yeah.
You can only listen and understand.
I think
Okay.
I've done a good job of listening, haven't I?
That's right, yeah. I'm just begging you now as my elder brother now. Please just forgive me. Now, please.
He went on and on, threatening to cry, and it's only at the end when I pointed out that over half an hour had elapsed and his partner in the car must have been crossing her legs by now because she still needed the toilet, she still hadn't been to the toilet, and he never seemed to grasp that aspect of it.
Let's get things into perspective,
Yeah.
What you've been doing 98 miles per hour. It's not the crime of the century, okay? I will stick my neck out and say you will not lose your driving licence.
I know.
So let's get things into perspective here.
Ma, that is why I'm pleading with you that just give me this chance.
No, I'm sorry, this is the way I'm dealing with it.
PC Bort's way of dealing with it will be without compromise. But as long as the man continues his delaying tactics, Bort can't get the necessary paperwork completed.
Your wife needs to go to the toilet. That's what you said at the start 40 minutes ago.
That's right.
So let's get your wife to the toilet. Yeah, that's what I cannot understand how we've sat here 40 minutes later and your wife needs the toilet. Do you see my point?
It's a fine line from when somebody is genuine to when they try to start manipulating you.
Do you want to sign the form?
What do you want me to sign?
If you just have a look at the declaration there, and then a time and a date, please, and a signature there.
The signed form and the videotape from the police car's camera will now be handed over to the magistrate.
Do you want to just lean over and get the door handle? Can you reach that? All right then, good night.
At one stage I was about to crack into a smile and start laughing. Because it was surreal. You know, somebody cannot plead like he was pleading over such a pathetic thing.
In South Yorkshire, catching speeders the traditional way is no longer encouraged. And it's not hard to see why when the cameras can do it so much more efficiently.
The most I've ever had in just over 2 hours was 260, which is a lot of money.
A lot of money. Nearly £16,000 worth of fines. Over £62,000 a day.
59? It doesn't actually come to the police force. It stays with the partnership for them to use either to assist local authority with education or engineering or to purchase more equipment for speed enforcement measures.
Do you do the speed?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got 3 points on my licence.
What were they for?
Speeding. In the national speed limit I might have not a bill to pay it. In Lincolnshire, a camera, 72 miles an hour in a 60 limit.
The driver caught speeding on the M1 also received 3 points on his licence when he appeared in front of the magistrate. And he was fined £150. But his partner did finally make it to the toilet. When the motorcyclist who killed his girlfriend on the A616 appeared in court, he pleaded guilty to causing death by dangerous driving and was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison.
On BBC Three now, catch up with tonight's EastEnders.